it's Saturday morning. I've got a big box of Forbidden Powers on my desk. Jack's next to me doing some... What even are those, Jack? There you go. Free Guild. Which is appropriate, because Free Guild feature within the new Forbidden Powers book, Jack.
Yeah,
so there you go. What am I going to be doing today? Well, it's a bit of a hobby session. See if anybody's out there. It's a random show. I gave no warning whatsoever, so some people might show up, some people might not. But I'm good with that. I've absolutely no idea where my mouse pointer has gone. Should have warned you, this is an utterly random show. So what am I going to be doing? I am going to be building this lot. Just for fun, really. They're pretty cool kits, and I want to see what they look like when they go together. So that's pretty much it. That's what it's going to be about. We might talk a little bit Age of Sigmar as we go along. Maybe chat through some of the rules with Jack. And see what we think about all of this craziness. So let's start with the Horrorghast. And you know what? I am going to get their battle books. So what does the Horrorghast do? Oh, by the way, if anybody does show up to this show, say hi in the chat and I'll know you're there, which would be nice. Plus I've gone live 10 minutes early. That might answer it. That might help a few things, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay, let's go through Horrorghast. This is the first one, Jack. We've got the Horrorghast. Let's have a look at this thing. Where are we? He's got to be in there somewhere, hasn't he? Oh, he's a simple two-parter, this one. Not a lot to him. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to zoom in. Let's have a look at this. And zoom out a little bit because I've gone a bit crazy. Maybe zoom out a little bit more. There you go. So this is the Horrorghast. My airbrush compressor's just kicked in. Let me sort that. Every time. There you go. So what we've got here in the Horrorghast is single model, predatory endless spell. You can summon it basically. It's a casting value of 6. You can set it up wholly within 12 inch of the caster. It has 2 abilities. Prey on Fear, subtract 1 from bravery characteristics of units that are within 12 inch of this model. Subtract 2 instead from bravery characteristics of units that are within 6 inch of this model. This is horrific, Jack. Empower of Shyish. If your battle is taking place in the realm of death, this model can move up to 12 inch instead of 9. And of course it has fly. So very cute. Pretty much a theme for the whole of this new expansion is a lot of the powers are all about killing you through fear, basically. So we've seen quite a bit of stuff that's kind of hitting the leadership characteristic, which is going to make Battle Shock phase quite horrific unless you've got some consistent protection from Battle Shock, of which there's not a lot out there. Well, okay, for me, what am I saying? There's loads of Battle Shock protection out there. It's just not what it was for Fire Slayers. There was certainly, the runic empowerment that gave you... Oh, and there goes a tractor. There was certainly the runic power that gave you an entire round of being immune to Battle Shock, which has since gone, which is very, very unfortunate. I need to find a knife of some description. Oh, dear me. Got nothing within reach. So, what's your impressions, Jack, on Forbidden Power from what you've seen of it?
The lore's nice. I like the lore.
Yeah.
No, it looks good. I like the new endless spells, how they're different than just ways to pump out mortal wounds. There's actually a bit more to them.
Yes.
Like with the ferrymen and the bridges, it's like you got that unit transportation now.
True.
Instead of it just being, oh look, here's another D3 mortal wounds in your army every turn.
Yeah. It is nice to see them kind of expanding out what it does.
Yeah.
And again, the fact that every army has access to it makes you think twice about, if you're going to take it, everybody's got access to that power as well.
Yeah.
And, you start to think, well, some of these traditionally slow armies, given an endless power, could be quite fast. Yeah. Although saying that, I know that I've got magmic invocations for my Fire Slayers, But I am starting to think, can I somehow fit an allied wizard in there? Because some of the spells are just getting quite good fun, really, and add a lot to the game, don't they?
Yeah.
What kind of wizard could I stick in a Fire Slayer and it still look quite fluffy?
A human wizard?
Yeah, because dwarves, there is no access inside Dwarden. There is no access to magic, is there?
There is no Dwarden magic. I mean, you could put, a random Colgate Arcana priest in there.
Are they any good in terms of how much have they got on points?
I think they're 100 points, 120.
That's actually not a huge impact on the 2,000 point army.
No.
And arguably on the 2,000 point army, if I could do a 100 point wizard, I've got 100 point for this terrain piece as well.
Yeah, I think they're 120.
That's it, Jack. I am going to find a model and create a custom built wizard, which is just some crazy dude who's got into Urgold and is hanging around with the Fire Slayers. Or actually has hired the Fire Slayers as a giant personal protection as he goes on looking for artifacts or something.
You could even have one of the chariots.
What chariots?
Those things. They got wizards on the back of them.
Oh, yeah. How many points do they come in? When you say chariots, you're talking about...
The Hurricanum and stuff.
Hurricanum. 12 Neef's on the chat. Hey, 12 Neef, how are you doing, sir? Right, okay, I've built that one. That was really boring and simple.
Like a... the Luminarch, the one with all the lenses.
Yeah.
Custom made one, but with like some sort of magma gun or something.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I'm guessing that's the base for that one. I'm not basing it on a lot other than that's clearly the bridge. That's most likely the flyy boat. Oh no, they're the bridges. I'll tell you what, I'm going to work out the bases once I've built them. 12 Neef says, what do I think to the contrast paints? I really like them. I use them at the Warhammer Fest. And I had a lot of fun. In fact, I talked about them when I was on Frost and Fists chat the other day. And then I realised I hadn't actually covered them on my own channel. So maybe I should have done something about it, really. I'm just going to go. Give me a second, 12 Neef, because I do have a huge library of imagery from Warhammer Fest. And in that, I talked about... I showed the example I'd painted. So let me see if I can find that image. And if I can, which would be cool. Why do Facebook have to change everything every 2 weeks? So nothing makes sense anymore. Okay, I am definitely going to be taking a plunge here. Oh no. I don't think you can use a battle mage with Fire Slayer, says 12 Neek. I think you're stuck with a knight encounter. Good point. There are limitations.
Sad times.
Sad times. Thank you, 12 Neef, though, for being reasonable on that. Here we go. Nope. Yep. Here we go. So this was the imagery from the Warhammer Fest. I actually think when you see them used and used well, I've seen people posting up the test they did in like 2 seconds and going, I don't reckon much to these paints, which I kind of don't get that, because nobody's suggesting that you can just fire the paints at a model from 6 foot away in 20 seconds and get good results, But these are impressive. Let me see if I can actually find... Oh, I didn't want to do that. Let me see if I can actually find my sample. So this was my example that I did. And I maintain this did take me about 90 seconds, 2 minutes, something like that. I had the 5 colours, I was splashing them on. So I had red, blue, yellow and brown. And I tell a lie because I actually came back and did a little bit of green just to see what it looked like. So bear in mind that this was, a 2-minute paint job. I think it's perfectly acceptable. But I get it's not for everybody. My personal opinion is, am I going to use them as they are meant to be used straight out the packet? No. Because, I'd like to think even with my limited painting abilities, I'm past just going for one basic coat of paint over the top of a primer. I'm quite happy to spend a little bit more time on my models. Are they going to be added to my vast, ridiculous collection of paints, definitely, because I think I can see some great uses. If you go back to the red cloak there, if you go back to that red cloak, and sorry about the positioning on it, I don't think there's much I can do about that. It's just because I hadn't really set this show up as a proper show. I was just having some fun. No, that's not going to work. So the red cloak there, I'm going to see if I can just, there you go, bring it on camera for you a little bit more. There you go. That red cloak I think is a brilliant base to then start layering up on top and adding edge highlights and all the rest. But it's certainly better than a flat base. It's the mid-tone and the shade tone done straight away for you, and even a little bit of the highlights. So you could glaze up some extra highlights on top of that and it would look perfectly respectable, I think. So I'll be definitely using it. Let's get back to making models anyway. So thank you, 12 Neef. What am I going to do? What's the Knight Incanter, and how do I go about sticking one of those in my army? Yeah, Stormcast, yeah? I could do a fiery Stormcast, couldn't I? Just some crazy Stormcast dude who's on a mission. I'm trying to find a narrative way why there's a Knight Incanter hanging around with my Fire Slayers.
You're going to struggle.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to struggle, but I really want to add magic to my Fire Slayers. Do I? It's just you miss out on some of these really cool endless spells, don't you? That's the thing. I know I've got my Magmic Invocations, but obviously I've got a limited pool, and I do think when you've got a wizard, your choices on endless spells is huge, as opposed to when you've got a priest, your choice on Magmic Invocations is somewhat limited. Crikey, this is a big thing.
Which one's that? Is that Ferryman?
This is the boat. Oh, it's really nice. Oh, look at that. Look at the detail on the inside. That's great. Oh, okay. I can live with this. I'm going to do a little bit of tidying up because I can see possible bad point for joining them together later. Probably ought to find out how many points a Knight Incanter are. Looks solid. I think it would be great for terrain, chaff units, etc. But I would use regular paints for my characters, says 12. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Mr. Neef, when are you back over in the UK? Because I know that you get over on a fairly regular basis. I'm wondering if I can ask you a favour. When you're travelling back over to the UK next, try and give me a couple of months' notice, and we'll see if we can hook up for a game or something. Because I know you come backwards and forwards, you international jet setter, you. And I still think I need to follow up on Skirmish with you. I think it would be great for Orcs, Gits, Seraphon, and the like. Not sure about flesh colours would look. Flesh colours I didn't get to experiment with. I did see the kind of pinkish colours being used on oh crikey, Slanesh, and they look great. Does anybody get on with these glues with the nozzles? I quite like this Humbrol one, but somebody told me it's no longer available, which I'm gutted about. Just as I find a new plastic glue, they stop making it. But I really like it. It's a little bit thicker than the Games Workshop one. You kind of like a little bit more control over where it goes. Although you do get finger strain just trying to squeeze the damn thing out. There you go. Leave it there to block up. That's good. Speaking of German, not seen Ralph for a while. So I think he's travelling. He was taking, I think, his daughter somewhere to the far end of Europe. So that's where he's been. I remember him posting something up about offering to pick us up a sandwich from Brussels or something.
I think it was Waffles.
Was it Waffles, was it? There you go. Okay, right. This is an impressive looking piece of kit, and I'm guessing this is the right base for it now. Things are starting to fall together, look. What else have we got to go on to this chat then? Oh, I'll tell you what we didn't do. I didn't look at the rules for this. I think we know it quite well now, but let's have a look at him. I love how his name is Launchin'. For like launching people around the table. Oh no, wait, that's right, isn't it? So Soul Seeker, single model predatory, moves up to 12-inch, flies. You can summon him. It's casting value of 6. Set up within 12-inch when the model is set up. The player who set it up can immediately make a move with it. Okay. So 12-inch plus a 12-inch move. If your battle is taking place within the realm of death, the model can move up to 18-inch instead of 12. Seriously? Before a player makes a move with this model, that player can pick a friendly unit wholly within 3 inches of the model, remove the unit, place it to one side after this model has moved, set up the unit again wholly within 3 inches of this model and more than 9 inches from enemy units. Once the unit has been set up, one model from that unit is immediately slain. So this is the ferryman, isn't it?
Always got to pay the ferryman.
You've got to pay the ferryman, as they say. So that's his price.
Yeah, it's very Greek mythology, isn't it? Almost. Is it Greek?
Yeah. There's definitely
the underworld.
Absolutely. So, or Christy Bear. Don't pay the ferryman. Sorry. Better than Lady in Red, though, isn't it? Right, where were we? 12 Niece said, Sam Stock says, yo, Sam, excellent. Are you doing any hobby right now, Sam? Or are you just calling on by? Good to know. If you are, I'll get you up on chat somehow. I don't even know if I can with this show, but we could try it. It would probably ruin everything, all the audio. 12 Niece says, I would like to be back in the UK in October. There is no event as far as I know, but I've had great fun in the UK going to Texas next month for Warhammer Citadel weekend. Oh, man. Right, okay, well, let me know if you're coming back to October. I'm not sure there is an event. I think there's a doubles in September, if I remember rightly. I'm not sure about October. There might be 40k in October. That kind of rings a bit of a bell. But don't quote me on that. So, yeah, let me know. Let me know if you're coming back. Oh, I should have cleaned that bit up. That's terrible. Magic's only an endless spell, isn't it? Does anybody care about their endless spells? There you go. Yeah, people care. So they should. Sam Stock says painting grey. Painting grey? He's working on his amazing, ridiculously brilliant
human Caradons.
Yeah, Skyfleet Caradrons. I love how much airships come into the stories in Sigmar. And, you know, I was reading, I think it's part of the, yes it is, it's part of the new book, it's part of Forbidden, that doesn't even go there. What am I doing? Stop sticking things where they don't go. I was reading the new part of the Forbidden Powers, and they were talking about this particular place that the Caradrons have been trying to get to, but and they'd given up on it because it was just too dangerous. It kept melting the ships and stuff like that. And then, of course, the Necroquake come along and disrupted all of that, which made it a little bit more accessible. And so the Caradrons are trying to get there, but it said the Grots are trying to get there in their blimps, and so are the Skaven trying to get there in their airships. So I love the idea of, you know, almost doing, different Sam, this races. Is for you. You can have this one. Because it'd be a load of work. Doing different races, but making them all Skyfleets. So Grots in really rubbish hot air balloons and stuff like that, and blimps with like propellers on, and some little Grot pedaling away, making the propeller spin or something ridiculous. Or, you know, using squigs, inflated squigs. Oh. So like they've got
hot
this
air squigs.
Yeah, hot air squigs. So you know the Caradrons that the little jump pack Caradrons.
Yeah.
So you get your squig hoppers, but what you do is actually hang the rider from the bottom of the squig, and it's like floating, so it's like full of floating gas. That'd be so cool. I want to do that now. Too many cool things to do. Oh, I'm going to have to smooth that off. I really fluffed that up because I glued the wrong bit. 12 says, I would also like to play Wrath and Glory starter set with you. with you all. It's a great amount of fun. Control of the game has been transferred to Cubicle 7, who is doing the fantasy and AOS RPGs. Okay. Delta says, can you maybe do a video about an efficient way to paint skinks? Absolutely I can. I'm looking over my shoulder. Hold on a second. Somewhere in this room. There you go. I'll be back in a second. There you go. 20 skinks. Well, 24 skinks, of which I think Rachel needs 20 of them, basically. So that is for the tournament. She needs 20 skinks for summoning. And in which case, that means they need to be painted in the next 4 weeks. So definitely within the next 4 weeks, I will do a video on efficiently painting 20 skinks. And the reason that absolutely sings to my needs is because, one, we've only got 4 weeks to paint 20 skinks. We've also got other work to do to our army as well, along with getting our own armies finished. So it's definitely going to be focused on efficient. If this is coming from Delta, if the new paints are out by then, which I strongly suspect the new paints will be out quite shortly after making such a hoo-ha of them at Warhammer Fest. If the new paints are out, how about I actually do them using the new paints as a little, this is how the new paints worked. One thing I really want to try them with is like a zenith over the top of a zenithal highlight, but that basically means you'd need access to an airbrush. So what I'm going to do is do them as those paints are intended to be used. How about that? If they haven't come out by then, I will come up with an alternative. But I have to say, yellow is one of the new paint's strong points. Those yellow and oranges. I saw them on the Warhammer Fest. Hold on a second. Yeah, it's not a great photo, but I'll bring it up anyway. There you go. So you can see the yellow working on there. Absolutely brilliant. I was pretty impressed with the paints on Seraphon. They work quite well. I wasn't that fussed about these. They're a bit monochromatic, but you can kind of see the yellow working on these skinks here, so definitely worth having a look at. So yeah, I'm up for that, Delta. 12 Knee says, I see an idea for an aerial dread fleet. You see, this is the thing, is you could just take them, do the whole thing, and then can you imagine what the battles would look like when every army is aerial?
Pirate undead and stuff like that with ghost ships flying through the sky.
Oh man. And you know, and depending, I mean, obviously you could do it so it's just proxied. So squig hoppers are just floating from bloated floating squigs.
Yeah.
And you'd have blue squigs rather than red or something like that, so they're like, little balloons. and then you could just proxy them. That's cool. But also you could have some fun little custom games where everybody's got the fly keyword, for instance, so everybody's flying along. Unless even the Caradrons have foot troops. So there's nothing wrong with having like the battle line. Yeah. The battle line doesn't have the fly keyword, but all of your other specials like your squig hoppers and
squig hoppers do have fly.
Oh, squig hoppers have fly anyway, do they? Oh, fantastic! Oh, it's just made to be done. Orc Boy says, according to the Gloomspite Time, the Gobbos stole the blimps from the Sky Dwarves. Well, there you go. There you go. So yeah, but they're not going to look after them, are they?
Oh yeah, they're going to do Gobbo things to them, aren't they?
They're just going to excuse me, trash. Delta says, I'm new to the game and I have 60 skinks and no clue how to paint them. Right, no problem. We're going to get those 60 skinks painted in a day. Because if I can do 20 skinks I'm going to do a 2-hour live show. And that's 6 minutes a squig. A skink. I'm squig obsessed now. Frost and Fist says, I've been waiting for to try them with a zenithal undercoat as well. Yeah. Frost says, hey Jack, basically.
Yo.
Yeah, Jack is here. Let's see if he can stick your head on, Jack. Oh, you're painting them, aren't you?
I'm right.
Oh, he's really concentrating. I'm not going to destroy. Can you pass me one of your knights? Can I just show this? So this is this going to work? Look how shiny. Jack's gone super shiny with his knights. So this is using the Vallejo metallics. But the gold isn't. The gold's Retro Beauty, yeah. But the silver is the Vallejo. And I just love it. I love how shiny his knights are. And they're going on. Have you got the mounts here? No, sorry.
They're up there.
Can I grab your mount?
Yeah.
I'll grab your mount. They're going on these beauties. Which, hold on, let me get that on camera. How cool are those? And he's done a stunning job as well painting them. I really like those. So shiny knight, super shiny knight on super gorgeous Griffhound. No, what are they called? Demigriffs, sorry. Oh. And I love what he's doing. For anybody who hasn't seen what Jack's been doing with his Shaman army, he's been doing these little hex bases, which was covered in one of the White Dwarfs at some point. So you get the idea anyway. Looks pretty cool. Right, back to it. We're making a skeleton. Skeletor. A10 and A9. I've really not been concentrating on this. That's a recipe for disaster. Carl says, Holy Throne, Skaven in warpstone hot air balloons in rickety splintered baskets to the hobby shop. Exactly. And I think this is the thing. I have seen somebody do just, like a cross, like almost Caradron vehicles, but with Skaven on. I've seen that, and like a combination of them, which works beautifully. Sam's done his, I don't know where he's posted. Yeah, Sam's stuff's ridiculous, isn't it? It's absolutely beautiful. So he's done like a human Skyfleet. And again, the idea is they were definitely like, working with Mercenary with Caradron. So they've got actual Caradron equipment. But, over the years, they've had to kind of affect their own repairs. Affect their own repairs. And it's kind of like a combination of wood and metal and stuff like that. It's amazing. So if you've not seen Sam's stuff, check it out. It just looks incredible. So yeah, I do like the idea of almost taking the Skaven vehicles and just doing hot air balloons above them. And I think some people I'm sure I've seen some stuff. People have been doing this, but like I say, the idea of doing gobbos. And almost like, the big hot air blimps could be like the Bad Moon, Yeah. Oh, can you imagine just, like the, what do you call it? The Endless Spell, that's the big skull head.
Yeah.
Kind of shaving the spikes off that and just having it as a Bad Moon sort of thing.
Yeah.
Something like that. That'd be wicked. Yeah. Oh, I got myself excited about that now. Oh, look how tiny these bits are. What am I meant to do with this? I'm getting too old. I don't like. There's no real guidance to the angle that arm goes on. Right, a little bit concerned. I might hold back on that until I'm doing the other arm at the same time, I think, by the looks of it. So I need to get the weapon arm off, because that's just guesswork at that point. Right, okay, what else have we got on there? Awesome work, Jack. Carl says, oh yeah, no, that was Carl's Holy Throne off to the hobby shop. Well, Carl, I'm glad you joined us up until the point you ran off to buy Skaven. Thank you to everybody coming along, by the way, because this is just one of those random live shows where we kind of said, let's do an hour hobby. And I was like, yeah, I could do again those Endless Spells built. And I thought, you know what, seeing as though we were all set up from the review we did for Forbidden Powers, if you've not seen the review, check out the channel, like and subscribe, all of that stuff we have to say. And yeah, check that out, because we were all set up from filming that basically. And I figured, why not just hit stream again? Could do with some background music on, and I know I've got some background music, but I don't know what it is, so I'm a little bit worried if I turn it on. Right.
Are you allowed background?
Yeah. No, that's not doing anything. I'm just going to turn that back off. I don't think I've specified my background music. Sorry about that, folks. Put your own music on. Right, the chat's calmed down a bit now. Maybe I should just focus on building this model. Look how tiny his arm is compared to his scythe. Oh wait, it's not a scythe. What am I talking about? It's an oar.
I don't know if they are called oars.
Paddle?
I know, because they're the thing you push along the ground with them, don't you?
Pole?
Yeah, pole. Any rowing or Venetian boatmen out there could tell us?
Yeah, at the very least, someone could Google that and pretend they knew what it was all along.
Yeah.
Which is, the vast majority of most things nowadays.
Yeah.
Where are we at? Oh, Richard has been on to editing the back report you and Liam shot. And he's up to the end of turn 2, I think. So that will be going up on Premium tomorrow. It was a good game as well. So Jack, just for everyone who's on the show, Jack and Liam played Fire Slayers versus Slaaneshi Beastman. I'm going to move this camera a bit closer for you folks, because I don't think it's actually over my hands much. I think I'm off camera a bunch of times, so sorry about that. Ah, Sam's come up with the official term. Nice Googling, Sam.
What is it?
Stick.
Is it? No. I actually expected Sam to be helpful then. Not quite sure why.
Nice one, Sam.
Thanks,
So what are you painting grey? I mean, are you undercoating or... wait, no, they've got kind of a grey uniform on, unless he's doing the boat itself. In which case, that would be pretty cool. Did you ever use that? I think I sent him a shark or something like that. I can't quite remember what I sent him. Have you strapped that to the side of the boat yet, or are you not going with that? Oh, man, I hate fiddlesticks. Fiddlesticks. Yeah. There's a saying in there somewhere.
I thought fiddlesticks were a game.
Is it?
Or is that like matchstick?
All the leather. There you go. That's what Sam's painting. Bless him. 50 Shades of Grey. It's not like you, Sam, to invest a huge amount of time on subtle different shades. It's gone again. I left that open way too long. There you are, it's working. Just need to find his head. Check out his head, Jack. Oh, buddy, do you want a lift? It's gonna cost ya. That's what I need to track down. Christy Bears Don't Pay the Ferryman track and have that on the background, don't we?
You don't.
All the bits are aside for the ironclad. I still need to do a lot of building, but I want to paint the infantry first. Thanks for the shark too. Where's Adi? How you doing, man? Having so much fun with my new Prusa i3 Mark III printer. Any recommendations for open source CAD software, guys? Crikey, open source CAD SketchUp. It's pretty good. If you've not already tried that. And, there's SketchUp Lite, but they've moved it into this kind of online experience type thing. So you have to just use the online version, which I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It just annoys me, that's all, because it used to be downloadable. And if you want the downloadable version, you have to get the pro version. But I like SketchUp. So try that, see what you think. This is never going to work. Seriously? Okay, let's see what we can do. I really shouldn't be trying to do this live, because this is the kind of thing you want to not be embarrassing yourself with.
Have you just broken it?
No, but it's nigh on impossible. It's one of those things that, you fiddle around with it for hours before you get it. Whoa! I've done it. I've reached. I've got no more fingers left though. Frost and Fist says, hey there Sam, my man. Sam Stock says hello, and Wes AD says cheers Phil. There you go. So yeah, check out SketchUp. And I also use Cura, of course, which is an open source slicing software. So depending on where you're at with your slicing software, this is a Prusa Mark III, so I would definitely recommend Cura. If you're not even there yet. And what am I talking about? I don't know how new you are to 3D printing. But slicing software is the stuff that takes the 3D object and slices it into many, many slices. So your 3D printer can print it. No. I'm missing something. I'm missing his feet. Don't pay the ferryman. Don't even glue his feet. Oh. Right. So, Sam, rumour has it you're definitely taking Caradon Overlords to the doubles.
Until next week.
Is that the case, Sam? Answer me that question, because I want to know. I want to know whether I'm up against those overpowered, overpowered dwarves. Of course, the next big question is going to be how much of a boon are they going to get in General's Handbook, because General's Handbook comes out in June, isn't it? You've got to expect to see. I want to see significant price drops across the vehicles. So when you see a Caradon army, it's all about the vehicles. That's
I
what I
want to
want to
see
see.
battle line gun haulers.
Oh man, how cool would Battle Line Gun Haulers
An
be?
entire army of boats.
Yeah, I think I've utterly messed this up. I've got a feeling that should have been in by now. Yeah, okay. I've not been paying attention to the instructions. I've just been gluing stuff as I went along. Feels like I've missed an entire page of instructions out. That's if Luke gets his stuff done. May not have a partner. Oh, come on. You'll definitely have a partner, whether Luke shows up or not, because we'll make sure of it. Yeah, that's mission number 1 then. We need to find... So if Luke's going to bail on you, we need a stand-in partner. So while I'm live now... Wow, yes, it fits. While I'm live now, we need a... What do they call it where you are, like... You're not the person who's actually playing the lead role, but you stand by in case they can't make it. Someone will know that term.
Backup.
Someone like first study or something like that. Or anyway, we need somebody as a backup plan for Luke's pending failure to paint his army in time for the tournament. Yeah, that was retrospectively done. That should have been glued a long time ago. Gimps in blimps, says Orc Boys. That's it. It's an army. Yeah, and it's going to have to be done. Years and years ago, and I've still got it upstairs because you've seen it, haven't you, Jack? I built an Orc blimp.
Oh, yeah.
And it had no role. This is Warhammer Fantasy 2nd edition. I did play it from 1st edition, but it was 2nd edition. And in one of the stories, there was something about this orc lookout, and it inspired me to build a hot air balloon with an orc in a basket hanging below. And I actually built him a pair of binoculars. The orc's long since missing, but I've still got the hot air balloon. So maybe there's some kind of fate thing going off there. Yep, okay, there's the ferryman. Oh, nice. Oh, he holds together quite well. Oh, okay, that's good. Substitute stand-in. Yeah. First, it's like a study or something like that. Anyway, doesn't really matter. We need a substitute for Sam. Substitute for another guy. Afternoon troops, says Stuart Noble. Afternoon, Stuart Noble. How are you, sir? By the way, there are some tricks to beat Stormcast with Seraphon. By the way, are there some tricks to beat Stormcast with Seraphon more easily? Jack?
Bring Seraphon.
Okay, talk me through where the Seraphon powerhouse is then.
Thunderquake Star Host. It's like this one battalion, and it's like an engine of the gods, like 2 Bastillodons, 4 Razordons, skink handlers, and you basically, your entire army just gets rerolls to hit, rerolls to wound, reroll saves, and it becomes nasty.
But with Seraphon, the power in Seraphon really is about the summoning, isn't it? That's about taking...
There is that, yeah. I think if you are going to look for a powerful army in Seraphon, steer away from the Saurus.
Yeah, the Saurus doesn't do it.
Look more at the skink side of it, the Bastillodons, hordes of skink. The Razordons, the artillery pieces, are very powerful.
Yeah.
But yeah, summoning helps.
It's
Play
all...
the objectives, because you've got that inbuilt teleport, which really helps.
Exactly. Play the objectives, teleport cheap units onto cheap summonable units onto objectives.
Yeah.
Defend your what's he called? Slan Star Master to the last, because that's where all those summoning points are coming from. Just utterly demoralize your opponent by constantly pulling stuff back every time they think they've killed them. I've moved my camera and it's now I'm off the bottom of it. Come on, Phil, get to grips. There you go, that's a little bit more like it. There you go. So that's the Ferryman done. Or should I say Lunch and Meat the Soul Seeker.
Don't think that's how you pronounce it.
No, but he's pretty cute. He's a really nice model.
He is nice.
Can I have I would just want to show scale for everyone. There you go, 25mm against it. Put a little chap stood against it. You can see why someone has to die, because he's not really got room for a lot of people. So he probably just has to kill everybody he can't carry. Look at your little dudes. What are you doing, Jack? Painting old school dudes.
I don't know.
Right, the Soul Screen Bridge. Let's have a look at the rules for the Soul Screen Bridge, shall we? That makes sense. Well, how long have we been on air? A while. Understudy. Mountain J nails it. Yes. We need an understudy for Luke. Okay, what have we got? This is the Soul Screen Bridge. So again, casting value of 6. You got to be 12 inches. Yep, all of that common. At the start of your movement phase, friendly units wholly within 6 inches of one of the Soul Screen Bridge models from this end of the spell can travel across the bridge. If they do so, remove that unit from the battlefield and set it up again wholly within 6 inches of another bridge. So what happens to this? You can set up the second wholly within 12 inches of the first. Okay, so it's a 12-inch leap, but it's a 12-inch leap plus the bubble on either side, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah.
Got to be more than 9 inch for enemy units. Unit cannot make a normal move in the phase anyway. Subtract 1 from the bravery character. Oh, so it's also nightmarish construct. -1 from bravery characteristics of enemy units while they're within 6 inches of a bridge model. This ability has no effect on deaf units. Nice. Empowered by Shyish. If your battle is taking place in the realm of death, the second bridge model can be set up within 24 inches. This is a big bit of kit as well, this bridge. There's a lot of plastic in this kit, you know. Should I read the instructions? Yeah, a little bit. These bits first. Let's get snipping. What else is going off? Well, since Mountain J said understudy, that's just blown the rest of the chat out. Nobody knows what to do now. Just came along and made all those foolish suggestions of substitute and stand-in from Sam and the Orc Boys. Pale. Oh dear me. How often do you think I'll do a live show like this again, Jack?
Never.
Come on. This is quite awkward to get into, that piece. That's pretty dreadful. Here we go. Let's get the rest of these off as well. And then we'll start doing some cleanup. I've got 2. You know what? I've got 2 of these to do as well. Crushing it, says Mountain J. Nice one. I've got a horrible feeling I left something on. You've got a feeling you've... No, okay. I must have snipped it off. I thought I'd left a bit of sprue on one of the models there that I didn't clean off. This is quite spiky. I mean, this would make a cool terrain piece anyway, full stop, wouldn't it? Spiky bones. I wonder how many people just do it for the terrain. I suppose they don't all. I kind of like the ideas as well of just having an endless spell on the table from the beginning of the game. I was kind of thinking, how can you You know, because these things are just meant to be roaming the landscape anyway. They don't necessarily. Okay, the rules reflect the nature of them. What's meant to happen with the endless spells is if you're a duty wizard, yeah, you suddenly get it into your head. Hey, if I chant this, shout that, and do this, I've now got access to this really cool, powerful spell. And of course, wizards being wizards can't really help themselves from doing it, so they do it. The thing, where the endless comes into it is once they come into existence, then the wizards kind of lose control of them. That's reflected in the game by your opponent being able to control them as well. So that's what it's kind of meant to be about. But the thing is, these things also, they don't necessarily get dispelled. They sometimes just wander off the battlefield. You know,
they've got a mind of their own.
They've got a mind of their own. So I quite like the idea of almost playing some scenarios where, you know, even if you've got 2 armies with no magic whatsoever, why don't you just stick some endless spells on, just to add like that random sort of feature to the game. One of my favourite Facebook posts of the day, by the way, Jack, was somebody who'd recorded on their phone the scene of the Rohirrim charging into the Oliphants. You know, the great big, whatever they're called. The Mummoks. And it says, this is how I feel every time I go up against my mate's Beastclaw Raiders army. And all he ever takes is stone horns and Thundertusk.
Yeah.
Because is it right that the Thundertusk is a battle line,
Battle line behemoth, yeah.
So you literally can just show up with stone horns.
Yeah.
Thundertusk. Although it's battle line behemoth, so you're going to run out of behemoth slots.
That's the problem.
Yeah. So at 4 you run out. But you can't do 2,000 points and just have those guys, can you?
No, because there's not enough points.
Yeah. Okay.
4, 8, 12, 6. No, the best. No. You would have to fill out with something else. No, I'm hoping that in the addition of the new battle tome, they're going to get a kind of almost Flesh Eater Courts treatment, where they are just battle line and not behemoth, like with the Terrorgeists.
Yeah, but you know, we said that about Fire Slayers and it didn't happen, did we? We got the option to bring one more Magmadroth as part of and it felt I have to say I was a little bit disappointed.
A horde of Magmadroths. Because
I wanted to bring wow, that's pretty cool. I wanted to bring, like, I've got 7 of them, so I wanted to bring 7, you know.
Yeah.
So I'd have loved it if they'd have lost their, even if it was just like Rune Sons lose their, you know, Behemoth and Game Battle Line, whatever it was, you know. That would have been so cool. Like 4 Rune Sons, a Rune Father, and a couple of Rune Smiters.
Yeah.
Just been, how cool would that be? And it would have been great to see that against Beastclaw. In fact, that's it, Jack. We're filming as soon as I get the rest of my Magmadroths finished, which all I've got to do is paint the troops on them, paint the Rune Sons on them. As soon as that's done, we're going Beastclaw Raiders versus Magmadroths.
Okay.
Open play, pointed open play. So in other words, everything but the restriction. Yeah.
Yeah. I need to get my conversions done for my Beastclaws.
Oh, of course, you were working on some chariots as well, weren't you?
Yeah.
You know what they need to be? Hot air balloons. Right. Is anybody else out there hobbying, or is it just Sam working on his 50 Shades of Grey? I haven't seen if anybody else is doing any hobbying. Does anybody have any questions out of Forbidden Powers? Because, you know, well, I've got the book on my desk. If you want to ask some questions, that's cool, we can do that. My favourite bit, as I mentioned in the review, is Teclis. I really like him wading in there. He can project himself. That's really not near enough glue. That's not a great join, is it? Teclis can project himself, so he has an ethereal form which he uses to kind of spy on people, basically. So when Sigmar is perverting his enlightenment engines to entrap this massive beast, which is really the center point of the entire campaign is this huge beast trapped in one of the vaults. Teclis is basically watching the whole affair in his ethereal form, and returns to what's Teclis's brother? Tyrion?
Tyrion.
Returns to Tyrion, and Tyrion's like, well, what did you expect, bro? Will I be at the UKGE? When is it? Is the answer to that? I'll answer that question with a question. Depends when it is, and to be honest, I'm a little bit out of, because I started this new job and I've been running around quite busily for the last 4 weeks. I'm a little bit out of touch with when things are happening. Mountain J says, don't have a clue about Age of Sigmar, haven't played in 2 or so years. Okay. Still crushing it when it comes to the word understudy. Alt Boy is doing a mini army on parade for next week's painting competition. Okay, cool. With the local GW. Who is your local GW, Alt Boy? So I'll give him a shout out. Not that the actual stores need a shout out, but
right. I'm gonna have to dip and do some revision.
Yes. All right. See you, Jack. Good to see.
Boy, everyone. I'm gonna go revise for an exam.
Jack's got his physics exams next week, A level. So that's why he's got his last weekend of cram revision. Right. Okay. NEC Birmingham, 2 weeks' time. Ugh. Right, yes. Painting a house from Tabletop World and making trees. Okay, cool. I've got to film a review shortly, so I'll be going off soon. Get that out of the way, Phil. I've been sent some models for a review, and I wanted to try and get that filmed today. Which I'll go, careful, Phil. Which I'll go grab them shortly, and we can have a look at them. Oh, that's Luke's APS. How you doing, Mr. Luke? Watching your stuff with great enjoyment as ever, man. Doing beautiful stuff. Painting a house from Tabletop World and making trees. Well, Luke, while you're on here, have you seen this stuff? So this arrived today from Titan Forge, and there's some pretty cool little dudes in there. Hold on a minute, let me get this out. I'm getting distracted, but all I want to do is show you a couple of bits. So first and foremost, oh no, pirate gobbos. We've got some little pirate gobbos. Let me get one of these out. This goes back to the blimps, doesn't it? Look at these little fellas. Old school faces. Good casting, actually. Really good casting. Oh, I really like those. Holding a cannonball. Big blob of rock. But we'll come back to that. There's this guy. Sam, this one's for you. So this is some kind of ogre dude. Pirate ogre. Check out his cloak. It's just got a shark skin, including the tail, which I think is well cute. So he's kind of cool. He's got a giant crossbow as well. There you go, look. That's pretty cute. I'm not quite sure what that is. Oh, that's just a rock for him to be stood on. There you go. And then this, the pièce de la résistance. Look at this. Which is just incredible. It's got a big dude riding it. Big kind of ogre pirate type dude. I'm going to have to do some research. But yeah, ginormous ogre pirate dude. And then just check out these claws, man. And I'm assuming... Wait, no. They've got to go. Okay. I'm not very good with the fit at the moment because I've not really got into it. Those claws have got to be something like that. There you go. Giant crab claws. Crab people, crab people. This is just amazing, isn't it? So I'll be doing a review of this. We'll do a proper look at this, but that's really cute. Amazing stuff. So thank you very much to the wonderful people at Titan Forge for sending me that along. But I'm filming that review this afternoon, so look out for that in the next week or so. Whoop goodies, says Luke. You'd love them, Luke. You could do a very cool one of your beautiful terrain pieces around it, and it would look amazing because you could do that whole beach scene, couldn't you, coming out of the water? And we all know how amazing you are at doing water effects. Very jealous, by the way, Luke. And yes, I'd happily. Luke, what's that, Luke? You're offering to give me a personal tutorial on how to do water effects? Sure, that'd be amazing. Frost and Fist says that's awesome looking. It is. It's very cool. I'm getting back on with this though, and I'm very excited about it. It's definitely getting built. It's definitely getting painted. I think it's pretty exciting, to be honest. So very nice of those guys to send me along the models for review. So look out for that. And I think it's a Kickstarter, but I will double check. Looking fishy. Right, this is deadly terrain, definitely. In every sense of the word. Okay, right, that goes on. Crikey, yeah, okay. There's some I was worried about the level of support this thing has, but they use these bits here as well to kind of like hold it together. Yeah, let's get this glued. Let's get this one built. And I'm not going to build the second one on the live show because you guys have seen one being built anyway. That's just the most entertaining TV ever, but I thought it'd be fun to do a bit of a show Saturday morning. My wife was at her work's party last night, so she's a little bit worse for wear today. So I'm just keeping in the hobby room, really. Trying to avoid any trouble. Okay, can't see where that fastens, so I'm going to just... It's not as obvious on that one. I'm going to put a bit of extra. This is quite thick, this glue, so I don't mind putting like a bit on both surfaces, really. It's so shiny, says Luke. Oh man, that's great. Yeah. That's really good. I like it. I'm pretty certain this goes on. You get two larger bases. So slightly. Yeah, you do. Look. Of course it does. So that's going to go kind of like that. Yeah. Makes sense. Makes perfect sense. Okay. Right. Let's do the last one, of which there are two of. And by do the last one, I think it looks like all you have to do now. The Mona song is "Why Not Come Round, Phil." More than happy to show you. Oh, cool. Yeah, that'd be great, man. I'll message you actually. Yeah, I'd love to do that. Right, where are we? I don't know the Mona song. What's the Mona song that's stuck in your head? Right, where are we? We've got this one now. So I tell you what, just to finish off the show, I paid no attention to those pages at all. There's the engine. We'll have a look at the sprue. I don't think I'm necessarily going to get started on this. I don't actually think. Yeah, these don't have any instructions with them, and there's a reason for that, because all you actually need to do is to snip them out. But I will snip them out, and as soon as they're snipped out, we'll have a quick look at what they do, and then I might call this show to an end, because I think we've done about an hour. Could be wrong, but could be right. I think it was about 20 past. I started 10 minutes early, didn't I? So there you go. That was one of the hardest builds I've done in the history of hobby. I'm trying to work out what the Mona song is. Frost, you're going to need to send me a link. Big Rich says hi all. Hey Big Rich, how you doing, man? Good to see you in the chat. Thank you all for keeping me company on this hobby morning. Yep, there you go. Challenge 1 done. They need cleaning up, but let's have a look at what they do. Shards of Valagar, shall we say? Yep. We've got 2 models. 5 casting value. You set up the first one within 6 inch of the caster, and set up the second one wholly within 12 inch of the first. At the start of the movement phase, draw an imaginary straight line 1 millimeter between the closest parts of the bases of the 2 shards. Each unit passed across by this line is ensnared until the end of the turn. And half the movement characteristics of a unit that is ensnared. In addition, subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks made by units that are ensnared. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. I'm just thinking again, selfishly, from a Fire Slayer point of view, how would that do? That'd be kind of interesting, really. Because you could have some fun with that. For instance, the Half-Guard Berserkers. No. The Auric Half-Guard can do exactly the same thing. So you'd actually be -2 to hit, although it is half the move characteristic, so it's not half and half again. At the start of the battle round, have to determine who is the first raid. So this is Twilight to Translocation now. The winner can remove 1 shard of the model from the endless spell in the battlefield and set it up again anywhere on the battlefield within 12 inch. So you're basically hopping them around. That's kind of cool. If your battle is in the realm of death, the model can be set up wholly within 12 inch of the caster instead of 6. So you get a little bit of boon on range. The giant rat that makes all the rules said, wow, that looked hard. It was hard, mate. It was hard work, that. There's quite a few places I had to snip. We were almost into double figures of snips per model. But it's done. And they look cool. I mean, sometimes just because, one thing that Games Workshop have really mastered, haven't they, is this undercut. They're very good at doing that. They're very good at aligning where that mold line runs. So there's quite a lot, that used to be the case that, one part kits were quite flat. But there's a lot going off here. Look, you can kind of see, even within that. That's quite cool. And they even sit off the ground a little bit. They're hovering a little bit. It's worth remembering that when it comes to doing your basing material. I'd be even tempted to kind of just... I'd actually raise them up a bit. I think they'd look rather than sat. Let me show you what I mean. They kind of sit right close. Hold on, can I angle this? There you go. Very close to the ground. I'd be tempted to stick them on a couple of flying bases and just lift them off the ground by about that much. I think they've got a little bit more presence to them than if they're hovering along above the ground. I kind of like that. Yeah, I'll definitely be doing that. They're getting lifted. Yeah, definitely. Something like about that. About a centimetre should do it. Just so they're kind of mysteriously floating along. Right. Frost and Fist says, Luke, how do you get time to do your videos? You're in every live show I drop in on. It's dedicated to the hobby. That's why. Moogie Pie's waving. Hey Moogie Pie, how you doing, man? Right. We're coming to a close of this. Just a video of watching me clean plastic. Entertaining as it is, it's not the best entertainment in the world, is it? So, I tell you what I'm going to do. I think we'll have a quick look at the sprue on the Penambulum. Oh, still got one of these to build. They're significantly big. Let's just see if I can put a single troop next to it. that's pretty big. Yeah, check it out. Little fellow with a tash there. Looks like Mark Wilson. Oh my god, that is Mark Wilson. That really is Mark Wilson. How does that work? Hey, Wilson, how did you... Wait, oh, there you go, look. Mark Wilson. If you don't know who Mark Wilson is, look him up. But Sam will know who it is. Okay, here we go. Last thing then. This has got the most going for it. We've got... Oh, crikey. Yeah, quite a few parts to this. This is definitely going to be... I'm hesitant a little bit just to nail this together because I think this is, without a doubt, a component build. And you'd be quite foolish just to stick all of this together and then try and paint it because it's got so much going off. And this is where the challenge comes. When exactly does that go in? So I'm going to be playing around with that a little bit, I think, before I decide I'm super happy. I think that's okay as a single component, definitely. This is okay as a separate component. So that works. But all this stuff going off on the inside of here, have to have a think about that. Whether you keep that out to start with and just have this piece drop in at the very end is probably the way to go. Super strong magnets, mate. Make them float. Jesus. Yeah. That would work, wouldn't it? Just they'd need to make that noise as well, wouldn't they? I'll tell you where I am at. Let me show you this before I call an end to the show. I've been working on my Fire Slayers again. So I've got a unit of... Can you guys still hear me as I wandered across the room? I've got a unit of 15 of these guys done. Let's do... I will not zoom in, but you get the idea. So unit of 15, half-guard berserkers with the axe. These are cute, these guys. They are 2-inch range, 2 attacks, 2 wounds. They hit on 3s, they wound on 3s, they're a -1 rend, and they do 2 damage. And I think realistically, in an army, you can probably afford 15 of them. I'm trying to go for like 2 units of 15 of the berserkers. And I think that fits quite comfortably within a 2,000 point. Yes, we're going to see, as I discussed in the review, I'm sure we are going to see units of 30 of them. People will go there. But I reckon 15 is a decent size. You know, there's 30 wounds in that unit of 15. Because they're 2 wounds each. So they're marching around. Doing quite a bit of damage. So I like those guys. And this is finally getting somewhere. I've been messing around with this. This is the 2nd edition of my Battleforge. This one's going as a giveaway. So this is going up literally, I think next weekend it goes live as a giveaway. And I'd kind of done this sort of little, flame effect coming out of it. And I decided I wanted to rework it. So I do that one as a giveaway. And then this one has got, the flame effect going off in the braziers as well. So we've got the kind of light coming through. You know what? Let me show it against the dark background and you might just be able to... that doesn't work, does it? Because it's not that dark. How about that? So you can kind of see the light flashing coming out the sides there. There you go. I didn't want it to be too obvious, and that's what I've done with this top flame bit. Toned it down a bit because it was like an orange ice cream cone. So I wanted that to be toned down a bit, so you've just got the kind of light coming up around it. And then this one, if you're wondering what's going off here, that will be the same as this. I just haven't done the coals and stuff on it yet, so that's why it's just a big orange blob at the moment, flashing away. And I've done a little bit with stuff in kind of some reflective material back there, so it doesn't look great when you just shine a light directly into it, but on the table you can kind of see the light glinting from inside. So yeah, I'm pretty much getting there. I've messed around with this one a little bit more as well. I've made the metallics look a little bit more kind of, dirtier, and I might actually just give this a little bit of love before it goes out on the giveaway as well, so because I kind of feel like I've put a bit more effort into this one, and I think that one deserves a revisit. Basically, this is, as you can see, this has got the kind of highlighting on the bricks. I've not quite got there with that one yet, because this is actually still in 2 parts. Look, I've not done the final fix on it, and that's because I've been holding back on it a little bit, because I'm kind of still semi-tempted to add maybe one more light into this area. You can see where I've actually used silver foil to create that reflective back, and I've even put, you know, coloured foil on the inside and foil on the underside of the glue to make that reflector much stronger, basically, to act as a reflector. That's the idea, just to give that little bit more light coming out of it. And it does work, you know, it does work. You can kind of, I'm quite pleased, you see the light flashing off the inside, and, you know, even if I was to, it doesn't really show on this camera well, but it actually kind of flashes all on this upper surface as well. So I'm quite happy with that. Quite happy with that. So that's going to the tournament with me. That's kind of the centerpiece of the army, which I know it should be the dudes, but, you know, sometimes it's nice to have fun with a little bit of a scenery piece, isn't it? So that's where I'm at. That's what's on my desk at the moment after I'd finished these 15 guys. The only other thing I did recently, very recently, was I was very unhappy with the Room Father, because there's not a lot going. I need to do a Room Father on foot. Some of the lists you struggle to get the Room Father on Magma Drop, so I wanted this Room Father on foot. He's mainly base coats. He's not painted yet. He's just base coats. But I did do this little plinth volcanic rock base for him to stand on. Because I just wanted to, you know, I just wanted to give him some height. I just wanted to give him some presence on the table. Because the Rune Father, despite having the most ridiculous axe ever, is quite diminutive. And in the past, I've actually used the one that came with the Chosen Axes as my Rune Father. But the problem is now that's like a core part of the rulebook. And if I'm showing up to tournaments and I put him on the table, it's a direct proxy for one character for another. So I don't think I'll get away with it, to be honest. So I wanted to just revisit my Rune Father on foot. A lot of work to be done to him. Like I say, he's literally just base coats at the moment. So I'll be getting some work done to this fella, because there's a good chance this little chap might be coming along to the tournament with me. Because I'm struggling to fit in the old Magma Drop, gutted as I am. But that's the case. Giant Rat, that makes all the rules. The longest name on YouTube ever. Nice lava. Wow, fancy. Oh, thank you very much, Giant Rat. That makes all the rules. And Luke Zapier says, Phil, I love it. That's fantastic looking set of dwarves. The dwarf is compensating. And for his reach, of course. Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous, isn't it? It's just utterly ridiculous. You know, it kind of made sense he was forced to hit, because it's just the most ridiculous weapon ever. Right, at that, I'm going to say goodbye to you folks. Thank you for joining me while I put these things together. Hopefully you enjoyed it. These are cute looking models. Definitely worth getting the set. Even if you're not after the rules, there's some very cute looking little bits of... like I say, you know, even if you're playing a game where you don't summon them, position 2 of these on the table and use them like realm gates for jumping backwards and forwards and making the tabletop more dynamic. Put those on and have them as an impassable hazard right in the middle of the game. Do stuff like that. We're going to call it a night. I will see you later, folks. I'll be back on Monday for a musing. All going well. Bye. Oh, thanks for everyone for joining.